Hi everyone, so today I want to talk to you about overcoming physical compulsions. There's two types of compulsions you can have. It's physical compulsions where you are actually performing some sort of action, there's a behavior, and there's mental compulsions. So today we're going to talk about physical compulsions. Most of the time, when you have physical compulsions, they grow as you progress in the disorder. So you can start out with having one or two, and then they grow infinitely until you start to actively refuse to do them. So I would say start out in your own home, because that is honestly the best place to start out. Start out in your own home. If your compulsions are always in your home, start out in the places that you are in your home the most. And go room by room. What are your top compulsions? If your compulsions have to do with work, do the same thing at work. What are your compulsions when it comes to the specific area where you're around, like your office or your cubicle, right? What is the thing that bothers you the most? What do you spend most time doing there? And then start to go further and further out. And you can make a list of all of your compulsions and how many times you do them and try to cut them down. You don't have to stop all at once, because if you stop all at once, you might get a lot of, you will get a lot of anxiety, and you might not react the right way and seek reassurance. So what you want to do is you want to do this slowly but steadily. So every day you're making progress. So for example, if you have certain things around you that you don't like touching, you don't like looking at, for whatever reason, what you want to do is, out of those things, what is the thing that bothers you least of all? And then start from there, refusing, and say, for example, if you're afraid to touch something, then go ahead. Or if you're, say, for example, if you keep things and you don't want to throw them out, what is the thing that will bother you the least to throw out? And take that thing, throw it out, and so on and so forth. So it's completely on your time, you know. Some people go through this faster, some people go through it slower. But if you have a list of everything that's bothering you, and then you start to cut things down from that list, you will see that, okay, you know what? When you ask yourself, am I making progress in the recovery? Well, take a look at the list. Look, you knocked out half of the things on the list. Yeah, you're making progress, right? So it's in doing it that way. And progress means anything better than where you were before. So for example, if you are a hand washer, if you wash your hands a lot, time yourself, how long do you wash your hands for? If you wash your hands for 20 minutes, let's cut it down to 18 minutes. So every time you wash your hands, put your timer on your phone or wherever on your watch, or bring a timer with you if you need to. And time how long it takes you to wash your hands, and cut it down a few minutes every time. So, and in a month, you'll get to what is a regular kind of time for washing hands. So, and the same thing like this with everything. Because, you know, say for example, you're washing your hands for 20 minutes, what will it matter to you if you wash it for, say, 18 minutes or 19 minutes? But the point is not to go fast and say, well, you know what, I can do 10. I don't even need to go this slow. Yes, you do need to go slow most of the time, because you will have those hard days where you will feel that, you know, I just can't handle it, and then you can really kind of go back on your progress. But if you're doing it slowly, then it's going to be a lot more ingrained in your mind, and your mind is going to be a lot more steady in its recovery. So I find that, especially with physical compulsions, slower is better. Not super slow, but you know, not jumping too much, because you want to while you are making this progress, your mind is actually physically changing how it's viewing certain thoughts. So, and when I say physically changing, I mean that the way the signals go in your mind when you are exposed to this particular situation, how your mind reacts, where it sends its power, where it's like, you know, what are the pathways of your thought. There's actually, like, if people get their brain scanned as they are having OCD thoughts, and the way the brain lights up on the scan actually changes as they are changing how their mind works. So, like, if they're going once a month or once every 6 months, there is actually, the pattern is actually different because of how they've changed. their reaction to the situation. So slow, steady, start where you are the most, what matters to you the most, but you have to make sure that you finish it. Doing 90% of the list is not good enough. Also, another thing I wanted to talk about when doing getting rid of physical compulsions is I see a lot of the time that the person will be focused, say, on getting rid of hand washing, but at the same time, somewhere else, there's a new compulsion starting. So you have to make sure that as you are fixing one, you're not accidentally creating another, and you're not doing it on purpose. It's just that your focus is over here. So you're like, oh, okay, you know what? I'll just do the compulsion one time for that thing because I want to make sure I fix this thing, and that's not the correct approach. The correct approach is not to do that, and at the same time not to do this, and that's why it's a much more stress on you, and that's why I was saying you need to go slow and you need to make sure that you're consistent in everything while improving one thing at a time. So I hope this kind of clears it up for you, some of the questions I had on these topics. If you have any questions that I didn't address, you can always email me to info@youhaveocd.com. You can also visit my website, youhaveocd.com, and it has all of the information, including my recovery program, including ebooks, and a lot of free information as well. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.